You want to cram a pillow down my back?
No, Bob, you're fine.
Okay. Hi everyone. Sometimes you get goofs like that here. Yes, and the other world according to Bob. That's my mom. Sometimes you hear me talk to her. She's like the big voice off screen. Um, Sorry if I sound a little congested. I've been sick. So, yeah. Okay. Pardon me. I am reviewing Rowan Hood Book 2 Lion Claw by Nancy Springer, who also wrote the Enola Holmes books. I had to think on that one. The Enola Holmes books are very good, and you may see me review The Case of the Left-Handed Lady coming up here in a minute. And yes, it's a traditional media review, part of an experiment I'm conducting on my channel. I'm not going to jinx it by saying what that experiment is, I'm just going to leave it up to you. But anyway, if the first book interested you, you should be fair warned that this is fairly slower pace. It gets good toward the end, though. And remember how in the first review I compared Rowan Hood character of Lionel to Little John? Well, they kind of made the comparison a little weird because Rowan kind of almost dies, and there's like this weird. Lionel really cares for her, like almost loves her, loves her enough that he wants to give up his boon from the first book to the fairies or the elves or whatever the alpha actually are. But he's willing to give up his boon for her, and it's this whole thing throughout the book, not giving up the boon, but you can sense something has changed in Lionel. That he's tired of being the coward from the first book. And at the end, it has a horribly cute moral of accepting yourself for who you are, which I think is good, but at the same time, I'm not gonna knock that, but at the same time, I don't know what I think that the first one was up there with The Giver, and this one was like if she comes back around in book 3, I will entirely understand because it felt like she didn't put a whole lot of effort into this. Yes, she put a lot of effort into the moral, but the end of the actual book shouldn't be when you remember, hey, I need to put a story. You know, you should put stories throughout, not. Oh, by the way, I mean, I liked Lionel's relationship with his father and how that eventually gets resolved as someone who has had iffy relationships in the past. I'm not generally just talking about family here. I'm talking about just sometimes people just want to bully you. And I I liked that Lionel didn't win right away. You know, I like that it showed that his father was the way he is because that's what he chooses to be, not because of anything Lionel did. That's all I'm willing to say there. But I like Lord Lionclaw. Yes, the book is named after the villain of the book. I like they brought in Guy of Gisborne. I like that Robin was featured in it again at the beginning of the book, but not really very much at the end. I liked he was featured in the slow part and a little bit of the middle. But how does it hold up by comparison, say, Princess of Thieves, which is which as well is what I watched um for preparing for this video. I said I'd watch it in my last Rowan Hood review, and I did. Princess of Thieves kind of reminded me of how they tacked on that little segment at the end of Enola Holmes 2, if you've seen it yet. How it has little a little fun fact about the matchstick girls, and it made the whole movie a little better. Well, Rowan Hood is not related to that in any way, which I don't know if it's disappointing because they're both good characters. I still don't. I still don't hate Rowan because she's not related to um that character. Doesn't take away any points, but at the same time, she could have been, and that would have made it all the more great. The movie was enjoyable too, for what it was. It reminded me that Rowan Hood hasn't brought in Friar Tuck yet, which, what is a good Robin Hood story without Friar Tuck? Rowan Hood, apparently. The first book, at least, didn't bring in Friar Tuck. Then the second book didn't bring in Friar Tuck. So we may end up in the third book, which focuses on Rook, which Rook had that whole Wolverine vibe. That whole don't mess with me, I have a jaded past type deal. Which was, I'm always down for that. I'm not gonna do a, not gonna do a numbered star list type thing. You know, a rating. Like I do in my comic book reviews. But because I know it's, as a writer myself, I know it's hard to write these characters, but I hope they do take my criticism into consideration if she ever decides to return the character. Or if they make a movie out of, say, the first two books. Which, by the way, I think they could totally do because they could just squeeze them together. mush them together in one big thing. They wouldn't even notice unless there's a big twist in number 3 and Celandine comes back. Which we looked up Celandine, and as far as I can tell, she is just a Nancy Springer creation. Which those are always fun. Does it stop me from picking up book 3? No. Do I think I'll make it through all the way through the series? Yeah, probably. Um, do I want to say more? Oh hell yeah! It was a good book because once the train got going, it really got going. I'm thinking about reading the fourth book in the Giver series to get back on that, but that's just me. I don't know what comes out next, be it a comic review or a video game or some other thing I've been planning for a long time with my brother's help. I don't know. I don't know if the next one is Axiom Axiom's End sequel. That video did okay, really well. Didn't but didn't get the feedback, but at the same time, the numbers are what they are. So I definitely will be looking into that at some point. I think I might do the case of the left-handed lady at some point as well. That might be comparing the left-handed lady to the Enola Holmes movie, the movie timeline using the second movie. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope I didn't give too much away. That's always a main concern with me. I've been Bob. This has been The Other World According to Bob. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like it. Let's see, what do they always say? If you like it, like it. If you really like it, share it. You gotta share it. Share it with your friends. Tell them I exist. And that's been The Other World According to Bob. Bob out. And yes, I reviewed the audio book.